Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. And today we're going to be talking about 10 unique games that I think that you guys might not have heard of. Now, these games are going to be very different, I would say. Not the usual game I pretty much talk about, but I feel like you guys will find some titles in this list that hopefully you will like. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these games. They're going to be a bit weird and off, but I think some of you guys will enjoy them. So let's get right into it. Now here's Parasol Stars. This is actually the sequel to Bubble Bobble. So this is actually Bubble Bobble Part 3, which Part 2, the original Part 2, is actually Rainbow Islands. Now both of those originally were arcade games, where this game actually came out as an exclusive on the console. And I would say it fundamentally plays like those games. You're pretty much, you have to clear out a screen of enemies. You catch and release enemies and throw them in like these loops that kind of like take out all other enemies or just toss them at each other. The game is pretty fun, and I would say it's my second favorite in the series, with Rainbow Islands being my first. I'm happy to say, too, that this game is also going to be released as a physical from Strictly Limited. Hopefully that's out by now, but if not, you could download it as a digital. There's not really much else to say about this one. I mean, if you play Bubble Bobble, you know what you're going to get into with this one. It is a very fun game. It's unfortunate that it wasn't as popular as the other games, but still, they're trying to give it a breath of fresh air. And with its physical release looming, like I said, I hope it's out by now. It's definitely, I think, something people will want to pick up. Mario and Wario. Man, I've been wanting this for a long time. I saw this back when I was a kid. I was telling everybody, hey, it's Super Mario Brothers 5. It's not. It's a point and click game that's really a lot of fun. As you can see here, it comes with a pad, a mouse, and of course the game. Very impressive. I wish this would have came out in America, but it's okay. I got this at the show for around $15. I was very happy with that price. I think most people will like this game, especially Mario fans. It's a bit different, but it's still actually really a lot of fun trying to get Mario past the obstacles without getting killed. So definitely something you guys might want to keep your eye out on if you're a Mario fan. Next, we have Henry Hatsworth in the Puzzling Adventure. I was looking for this game for a long time, and I had totally forgot about it. But thankfully, I found it, and I got it for a good deal. So this game pretty much utilizes both DS screens. And in one screen, you're playing an action-adventure game. In the other screen, you're playing like a Tetris-type game. So depending on what you do on the action-adventure screen depends on how well you do on the Tetris screen. It's really cool stuff, very unique. A lot of people don't know that the creator of this game actually made not a sequel, but another game similar to it called Monster Tale, which is actually pretty exclusive to America. It only came out in America, but this is the first game I believe the developer made. I forgot what they're called, but somebody in the comment section will remind us what they're called. Anyways, guys, definitely check both of these games out. Very unique, very cool. Here's Mle Mania for the Game Boy. Now, what intrigued me about this game was the music. It's got some catchy music that'll keep you compelled to keep playing. Now, I would compare this game to old school games like The Adventures of Lolo, and saying that is that you could actually get stuck and have to start over, so you have to be very careful in this game. This game was one of the later releases for the Game Boy, so you can actually play it on the Super Game Boy and make it look a lot better. But I don't want to say it's a simplistic puzzle game. It is pretty unique as well. Like you dig holes, you kind of push these balls around to kind of get to your exit. But like I said, you can get stuck in this game, so you got to be very careful. It doesn't hold your hand. And it took me a while to get used to it, but the game is just so much fun, and the music just is catchy as hell, so it kept me playing. And hopefully it will for you guys too. But yeah, if you have a chance, definitely check out Mle Mania for the Game Boy. But I recommend you play it on something that has a little bit of color. Alright, so here we have a hidden gem, Egg Mania for the Game Boy Advance. This is a puzzle game where it's very similar to Tetris, but it's pretty much Tetris in reverse. Instead of like taking the blocks and making lines out of them, you're using them to climb to the top to get out to the exit. So pretty cool. And being that it's a verse game, you know, there's a little tension on who gets to the top first. So this is a very entertaining puzzle game. Also, if you want to play 2 players in this game, you only need 1 cart. So I like that, you know, you don't have to get 2 carts, which sometimes can be pretty annoying. So there's that. But anyways, I hope you guys like what you're seeing.
3, 2, 1, go!
Here's Puyo Pop Fever. Now, this version I have is actually the PSP version, but it's also available on the DS and the GameCube Evolved system. And it might be available on more than that. But this is a puzzle game that really kind of got me interested in the whole puzzle element of a versus mode, like going against another player. You're basically locked in a match with another player, and whoever messes up first, you know, obviously is going to be like, well, you can make comebacks in this game, but like the whole point of this is kind of to keep the puzzles going, knocking out the lines and the colors with the jellies, I would say, in this game. But if your opponent messes up or does good, they can actually send like enemies over to your screen to make things more difficult. So you want to be aware of that. But if you keep your composure, you can really get through this game. It's very exciting and fun. Definitely keep your eye out on this one, guys. And I think it's available on more platforms than I mentioned before. But yeah, keep your eye out on this one. And here's Egg Mania on the PS2. Also came out for the GameCube and the Xbox. This one is pretty much the same as the Game Boy Advance one, but I actually prefer the Game Boy Advance games because I like the sprite work in those. The Game Boy Advance one has a lot of charm. This one does too, but if you play the Game Boy Advance one, that'll probably be your preferred choice to play this. Alright, so here's Brok, the Investigator. Now, I got into this game for the wrong reasons. I thought this game was going to be more of a beat 'em up, but it tends to be a little bit of beat 'em up, puzzle solving, adventure. It's all mixed into one, and it kind of just threw me off. Now, the game looks fantastic. You know, this game, well, just by the look of it, will pull a lot of nostalgia in for a lot of people. The voice acting is really well done, and the puzzle solving is pretty good too. But the problem I have with this game is that with the pacing of a puzzle and a beat 'em up mixed together, it just doesn't fit right. So I feel like if this game was more of a beat 'em up, it'd be right up my alley. Now, after saying all that, I found myself mostly going to the quick fight mode, where that mode is pretty much like an arcade beat 'em up. But even playing that, I find myself thinking about games like Streets of Rage 4 or something else. I'd just rather be playing those games. Now, that's not taken away from this beat 'em up, but it's just like, I don't know, when some things are kind of like subpar, you start thinking about other games that you could be playing instead. Now, I hope, I'm not trying to stop you guys from playing this game. I feel like a lot of people will have a better experience than me. But yeah, I just want my game genres to be like one at a time, like beat 'em up, a verse fighting game, or RPG. You can't have all that stuff mixed into one to make a really solid experience, at least for me. I'm not trying to be petty with this one either, but I don't like the title of the game, Brok the Investigator. I see the joke in that, but I feel like, you know, something would have been better like Alligator Express. You know, don't ask me why. I just think it's a cool name. But anyways, guys, with me saying all that, I do think this will be a better experience for other people. Just wasn't my cup of tea.
Must be one of those trendy voice services. Just press the button and ask whatever you want. Whoa! What's going on with the electricity? No idea how this happened, but I better stay away from that fire.
game. Mario and Donkey Kong is a puzzle platform that uses elements from earlier games in both series. It's actually pretty cool. I've always saw this game out there and I just said, you know, it's not I'm going to really pay attention to. But once I saw the detail they put into this game, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. So the game starts off with Donkey Kong watching TV, and he sees these Mario toys and falls in love and immediately has to go get them. And that's where he breaks into this factory and steals all the Mario toys. And of course, it's up to Mario to save the day, to rescue the toys, so and everything that Donkey Kong stole. So that's where the game pretty much, that's the story for it. I see this series of games have been successful because they've made sequels to it, but I want to check this one out and see like where it started at, of course. So hopefully I'm going to enjoy this game. If you guys have played it, let me know in the comments how you feel about it. Here's Puyo Puyo Tetris Part 2. Be honest with you guys, I don't even really know how to explain this one. You're pretty much just like, either you play the Tetris part or you play the Puyo Pop part, and you're going against other players or the computer and just trying to win. I don't know how I pulled it off, but I actually won quite a few matches in this one. Definitely a game that'll keep you hooked, but I can't really explain too much of the mechanics for you. You know, obviously, you know how Tetris plays. If you know how Puyo Pop plays, then you kind of mix it together and figure things out.
Solved it. Whoa! Hey! Whoa! Hey!
Here's Crysyal Crisis. Now, I'm not sure a lot of people know about this title, but this was like Nicholas's attempt to kind of do a puzzle game with an all-star cast. It was actually pretty cool. Now, being that this is an all-star game featuring all the characters, it has like this crazy story that I'm not sure everybody will want to watch, but I think it's pretty cool. And they even got the voice of Optimus Prime as a narrator of the game's story. So one thing I really like about this game is that each character has two special moves, defensive and offensive. Now, you'll use these abilities accordingly depending on how you're going through the match, because the AI, I'm telling you guys, sometimes you'll be winning a match and the AI will just make this crazy comeback. So got to be prepared for that. But even though that happens, the game is a lot of fun. I am going to show you this footage of me fighting the last boss, which I was on a live stream. But even though I feel like the game can be tough sometimes, it's actually still really a lot of fun. And even if you're losing, you can make a comeback just like that. I need one more. Come on. He's hurt bad. Come on. No! Almost had it. Okay. Alright. We know what to do here. Blue's gonna go here. Boom. That takes care of that. Yellow, stay here. Green, of course, right there. Boom. And red will stay right there.